Yes,
There you
now
go.
we got the message. There you go. Okay, so welcome again. My name is Szilvia, as David mentioned, and I live and work in Budapest mostly. And I'm a facilitator. I'm a qualified facilitator, which is a certificate you can receive here in Hungary. It's a process you have to go through to get qualified, and it's somewhat similar like the IAF qualification, but it's done here locally. I've been dealing with groups for about 10, 15 years, working as a trainer and a facilitator, of course. And so basically that's um, that's about me and why we chose this topic. Because many times we have experienced this, I don't know if you know this feeling like, oh, when you enter a room and suddenly you realize something is there not the way you imagined it will be. So, and we discussed a lot what the importance of space is, and there are so many like detailed things that we might forget or don't consider on time. And then there we are standing somewhere shocked that, oh my God, what we'll do with this. So before we start introducing or diving into the topic, I'd love to hear, like David already asked you where you're from, but I'd love to hear what brought you here. Why are you here today? Why are you giving us your precious time tonight? So Anna, would you love to start?
Sorry, I
No
couldn't
problem.
I couldn't switch on my mic. I'm from Kazakhstan,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been dealing with facilitation for 10 years. Sorry for my English because I have no practice for speaking practice, but I will try.
Good enough.
And I'm a member of IAF
Mm-hmm.
from the previous year, and I have a award, silver. I won
Mm-hmm.
previous year, and I'm interested to certify it also. That's why I want to be part of this great community. I want to improve my skills and my knowledge and everything. I want to meet the people that I'm going to go to conference in November
Mm.
if I get visa. Of course, I'm waiting for visa. Mm. And I think today it will be a very nice topic, very useful, and with good tips and everything.
Thank you. Um, who do you throw the ball to?
Good.
Or let me just pick Greg. Would you continue?
Sure. So Greg Hadubiak from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, as I said. So it's morning here as opposed to evening elsewhere, maybe. I would say I've been formally doing some version of facilitation through things like stakeholder engagement, strategic planning, leadership development, workshops, and so on since 2012. But I think I could go back further into my leadership career of 25 years before that, where there would have certainly been facilitated sessions, whether team meetings, committee meetings, again, maybe stakeholder engagement, certainly things like strategic planning. I'm now, I think, into my second or third year of membership in IAF.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a member of the International Coaching Federation. Coaching, leadership coaching's one of my main modalities of work now, and have been with that organization since 2013.
And
Uh,
what brought you here?
what brought me here
Mhm.
is always looking to learn, to advance. I think certification, as Anna talked about, would be something that I'm interested in. Very goal oriented, so kind
Mm.
of driven that way. Yeah. I think
Okay.
this is my second time that I've participated in an IAF event. I think I did some form of orientation at the outset of my time, and so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks a lot. And now we will ask you to throw the ball to someone, and please be concise, like what brought you here, because we have a lot to do in this
Okay.
1.5 hours. So who should come next?
Okay. Daniel, don't follow my
Daniel.
lead. Be concise.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Szilvia. I'm Daniel Raffield. I'm here because I deal with leaders who I ask to be vulnerable in spaces together. And so it's a really important thing to have everyone show up as a peer, but still be vulnerable and also hold a little power for themselves. So I navigate that quite frequently. So any tidbits of information I get from that is just going to make my life a little easier.
Thank you. And who do you throw the ball to?
And Ksenia, I hope I said that right. Hi,
Yeah,
welcome. I'm going to throw the ball to you.
welcome. So
Thank
the
you, Dave.
question is, what brought you here?
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Ksenia. I'm representing the IAF CEA, like a new chapter was organized, Central Eurasian chapter.
Whoa.
And Anna is my colleague here. We are all team of the board. So yes, we are seeking for the new tools and new people to get known, like to ask an advice or to get an example of our acts here in Kazakhstan and Central Eurasia.
Okay, thank you. And I think it's only Aniko who's left, but she's on the tram, so I'm not sure she can. Can you speak?
I can speak very briefly, if that's okay. Well, I'm a facilitator working from Hungary. Kata and Szilvia are my wonderful colleagues. So that curiosity brought me here. And also I love learning from peers. I think that's very valuable. And whenever I can, even when I'm on the street, I'm so happy to hear from different experiences. So I'm curious and listening.
Super, thanks a lot. So, Kata, it's your time to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hopefully in the meantime, I manage my technical issues. I moved to another location, so I hope that you will hear me. So I'm really happy to see you. And Seni and Anna, last time when we had our chapter lead call, I was so happy to hear about the new chapter and really congratulations, that's a big thing. And I will be also on the Bucharest conference in November, so we will have the chance to see you. And as I could see in the chat, some of you might come to Budapest also. So please, please just use these connections and drop us a note. We will share also our LinkedIn profile, Szilvia and myself, at the end of the session in the chat. So whenever you think that you are in Budapest, just drop us a message and we can maybe also in person meeting you. And very quickly, I'm a certified professional facilitator. I'm the chapter lead for the Central Eastern European chapter. I used to be a mentor at IAF, but nowadays I'm doing my assessor practice. So hopefully very soon, if I have the opportunity to assess some more candidates, I will be also an assessor. And I'm really happy to be here with you today.
Well, thank you, Kata. So let's dive in. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yes, super. So welcome. Here, this is the poster you have seen. And just a quick guidelines, like how to be present here. We are facilitators, so we cannot have everything without guidelines. So please be visible if you can. Of course, if you are on the tram, it's okay not to have your camera, but I'm so glad I can see all your lovely faces here. Please listen to each other. Sometimes we will be speaking, sometimes you will be speaking in small groups. So please just, be open to each other, listen to each other, be curious. Although, as I've heard, you are curious about the topic, but also about about each other, and please be active. Although as facilitators, I'm not afraid you will be just laying back and listening, but just we ask you if just to be active here. So, can we all agree to be present like this with a thumbs up or a like? Okay, super. So now I hand it over to Kata.
Yeah, thank you, Sylvie. And we can already practice this last cooperation agreements, be active. So here you can see a physical space of a potential workshop. And before I just give you the skeleton of our session for today, I would like you to think a little bit as a facilitator, what aspects of the physical space you need to pay attention to that can affect the team and the workshop itself. Okay, so I put also the question into the chat. Just give some ideas. So what are those physical aspects that you consider as facilitator for your workshop? Tell me some words, please, loud.
Enough space, enough light. Sometimes I need the wall to put facilitating clothes
Yes.
on the wall and use it with stickers, with papers, with ideas, with everything. And what else? Fresh air.
Fresh air. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chairs and tables, but sometimes it's not necessary because I was in these situations without anything, and we use only floor and walls and markers and stickers and wall.
Exactly. Thank you, Annie, for sharing. Greg, over to you.
Just make sure I think I would echo some of the same things that Anna already mentioned. I mean, certainly one of the first things I was noting is light or natural light. Some groups are very, very demanding of that, so that's beneficial to them, but also trying to manage distractions so you're not looking outside at the birds and that you're present for the work as well. I'd agree with the wall space. Or some sort of whiteboards or, whatever, again, that group is used to working with. I think, again, if we look at the image you put up there, is that, are we asking them to do work? Do they have space for whatever we're asking them to do? I look at, again, to the right, I seem to see some opening on this particular one. So even as I get ready to facilitate something at the end of next week, I've already asked that group about privacy of the particular space that they've got. Because if we're talking about something that perhaps is sensitive or touchy, we don't want to do that in some sort of place where they are worried about being overheard. And so how do we manage that? I had another group just even recently where they had windows and they were asking me, should we block the windows out so people don't see what we're writing? So they were highly sensitive, for reasons that I may not have fully understood, but that was part of it as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for all these examples, and you will still have time to share experience. So, yeah, if we consider the space, the physical space, we are using a structure of 3 levels today with Sylvie, and we will concentrate on elements on the physiological level. We will see elements in the physical surrounding. And we will see elements on the cultural and societal level. And as you can see, we will have this 3 structure just under physiological level. We will have lighting, air quality, acoustics. Below physical surrounding, we will have flexible furniture, equipment, proximity of spaces, technology, accessibility. And also culture and society level when you speak about formal and welcoming atmosphere and culturally and socially anchored places. So these are the altogether 8 elements, altogether, 10 elements that we collected today. And we would like to lead you through on these elements. The structure that we are going to use at each element is we will give you the very short explanation, what we intend under this element. Then we will share some of our experience. And then we will have a kind of tips and tricks. So what we need to consider. And there will be, of course, certain section when we will ask your opinion and experience, either plenary or we might also split you in breakout rooms. So this will be the structure. So now for the first element, which is the psychological level, you will have the lighting, the air quality, as you also mentioned, Anna and Greg, and acoustics. And I will now tell you some words, and then after these three elements, you will have also the chance to reflect. So the first is the natural or adjustable or adjustable lighting. Also, you mentioned, Greg, with the window, which is basically everything which belongs to the light, daylight, or adjustable light, which has a big effect on the mood of the participants, energy, comfort, and focus. Some of our experiences are, for example, when you have a meeting room. I had a hotel room where we did not have not even one window. The whole day we were there with 30 plus participants. I really had to adjust the time when we have much often breaks, and also the energy level was quite difficult to manage. We also have some examples when it was a very high-tech modern building, when we have automatic lighting and self-acting shades. So in the middle of an exercise, we found ourselves totally in a dark environment. Anna, would you like to add something? Because I could see your hand raised, or is it from the previous?
If I got right, I have one situation about this room. Previous year, I had a session in Yurta. If you know, this is round Kazakh building. Only one window on the roof. It was it was very funny, but I use everything. I use floor and everything. It was once in my life, but I will not forget. I think.
Yeah, I can imagine it must have been a really difficult but also exciting experience. And as you said also, Greg, there is also, even though you have the natural light in the position of the window, so half of the group is sitting in front of the window, so seeing the other part of the participants completely like sense, because they are blinded from the very big light, while on the other side, people don't even see because they are in shadow. So you also have to make sure how you positioned. Of course, you have also the projector, the beamer, so it's not easy to adjust it. So what we need to consider when we speak about lights, that of course, natural light, if it's possible, to gain a place where you have that. Also, when you can adjust the light, because in different exercises, you can also, during presentation or brainstorming activity, it's important that how much you engage the participants. It can also give a boost to the energy. And also, if you can dim the lights during slides or videos that you would like to show. And also the exercises that I've already mentioned. So, and of course, if you have some harsh or flickering lights, that could also distract attention for the participants. And the glare from windows or screens, so participants can see clearly. So this was the natural and adjustable light. And let's move very quickly to the next, which is the air quality. So the air quality is basically the right amount of oxygen and temperature in the room. And I think we had all the experience when it was too cold, too hot. We could not open the window. We could not have the air conditioning, because even it was 30 plus outside, in the room we were freezing, and it was also the contradictory part, or completely the opposite in winter, and so on. So these are very important as air quality. And of course, different participants had different needs of the right temperature as well. So what you can consider concerning the air quality is that make sure that the level of oxygen is proper. And it's much better if you open the window at least for 5 minutes, not even in the break, then you have always an open window. And one of our colleagues at the Hungarian Association of Facilitators, she has a so-called oxygen level meter. This is a small equipment. And every time she has a workshop, she brings that equipment with her and she's measuring the oxygen. And if there is a sign that it's not enough oxygen, then she opens the window. So it's a very handy tool. So whenever we have meetings with her, we always have that equipment. And based on that, we also adjust the air quality. And the right temperature, 20, 24 degrees, but I think it can vary from culture to culture or also from geographical area and the needs of people. And it was a very funny moment when I was asked to do a Lego serious play workshop, because I'm also certified facilitator in Lego. And it was after team building, which was held in a very small kitchen because they had to cook together. And on the gallery of that kitchen, in the middle of the garlic smell and fried oil, we had to do a strategic Lego workshop. So you can imagine how effective and focused the team could be. And the third one is, of course, the good acoustics, which is, you also mentioned that everything which makes you and the participant to be heard, understood, and communicated in a clear way. So I also play with microphones. So usually I do not really like using microphones, but when we have 100+ participants, then it's a must. And also I like to use microports. So I have always the let's say the focus and the direction that I can always speak and have the frames for the participants, and handing over handheld microphone to the participants. We also had with Szilvia one of our community meetings, which was held in a gym, which was a great place. We had enough space, but we could not hear anyone because of the acoustics. And of course, while you are writing, for example, on a flip chart or a whiteboard, it's got to wait a little bit and not speaking while you are writing, because you are with your back to the audience and the acoustic is not the same. And of course, what you need to consider then is that your speech is clear, so you don't get muffled or distorted, or you don't have that echo, just like in the gym. Also, you have the even sound disruptions, so that you equally have the same acoustic in the different part of the room. So before a workshop, I always going to all the directions and try to test it. And also the background noise, as you also mentioned at the beginning, for example, street noise or any other, for example, music from the other rooms, if we have more trainings next to each other on anything which could really damage the good acoustics. So these were just really briefly in terms of psychological, physiological level. And now I just would like to ask you any other experiences that you had only in terms of these three elements. So the lighting, air quality, or acoustics. So he has some time to share plenary.
Kata, I have only my
Yes.
colleague's experience, who used to work in a building which is supposed to be a winery, which doesn't have any windows at all.
Yeah.
It was really hard experience. It looks so, hush posh and nice, but the productivity, according to their experience, was really low, and they had not just open the window, but like stand up, walk out a little bit more to move, like to gather real sunlight. So
yeah,
to finding a nice place to have a good session is a key.
Exactly. Sometimes we sacrifice the affects really the participants' mood and the energy of the workshop on the altar of a posh and very nice environment. Exactly. Greg, you also wanted to say something.
Yeah, just some different experiences with heating and cooling. In some circumstances, your HVAC system is so loud that it's drowning out what people are trying to say. I was in Africa last year, and they had us in a tent, and in order to compensate for the heat, they had air conditioning going on, and we were actually freezing in this tent in Africa, right? So best laid plan. Again, the spacing was so far apart. You had these machines going and drowning out conversation. So there's apps, and there's no place to, the tent walls are so far away that actually use them is pretty impossible. So yeah, certainly not suited for the purpose.
Exactly. Thanks, Greg, for sharing. And Danielle.
Yeah, I actually find myself often going the opposite way. I'm trying to create an environment of tension. So a nice offsite, just because they can afford it, I veto as much as I can. And I want them in their workspace. I want people to see them. I don't want people to hear them. I want them to feel uncomfortable, at least for the first few meetings that I'm with a lot of these leaders, because I think they show up more authentically in an environment they spend a lot of time in, which most times they make nice, right? Everyone's got a nice office room in their office building. Like they
Yeah.
plan on that. Someone plans on that. So
Yeah.
that's usually my push.
Yeah, sure. So thanks a lot for sharing. And I will give the word to Szilvia because she will show you the next level, which are the elements in the physical surrounding.
Yes, thank you, Kata. So let's move on and see what we have here. So we are going to talk about the flexible furniture and equipment, the proximity of spaces, technology, and accessibility. So let's start with the furniture. And before we dive in, now this time I'm going to share you the definition and our experience, but I'm not going to share our tips and tricks for now because we will have some activity for you for that. So flexible furniture and equipment and the tools used. Basically, the definition is how easy is it to move around the furniture and the facilitation equipment. And the experiences we have is, for example, a huge unmovable table covering almost all the space in the room. So I had this workshop in connected to a citizens assembly, and we had the stakeholder meeting in a municipality building, and they said, yeah, we have a nice room. And I entered, it's like really a table covering like 20 square meters. So it was like, okay, let's be creative. I'm sure you have met tables that were screwed together, impossible to separate. And also wires connected from the ground, the best. Even last week I tried to, take a wire off a table and, kneeling down and trying to screw it out, but I couldn't. So we just let the cable in the middle of the room. Or very heavy armchairs with especially these cozy spaces with armchairs you actually cannot move around. Or like pallets that that you just can't use on the wall, and it's just there. So close proximity of spaces. What are we? And Greg, you have mentioned some elements of this, but what is it exactly? So the spatial arrangement of the areas you use for plenary or small group work or coffee breaks and lunch. So it's the spaces around us. So what in April I facilitated at a conference about agro innovation, and the breakout rooms were like 10 minutes walk away from the plenary. And of course, it wasn't so easy to get the dynamics and the rhythm of the whole people going together. Or on the contrary, when everything takes place in one space, so the noise is too much and you cannot hear each other. So it's really hard to focus, and the privacy that you mentioned, Greg, that people can overhear each other. Or when people have to eat where they work. I had many times when the eating, like where they receive lunch, were the same space, and you know, arranging this and having the smell of the lunch staying with us for a couple hours is also another thing that helps a lot with the creativity. Technology, one of the devils in facilitation, like how to integrate it and how to use it or use it at all. So using technology in a deliberate, purposeful, and supportive way to enhance the learning experience without letting it become a distractor or barrier, because so to help us instead of hindering us. So the experience, for example, to use a wireless microphone so you can really run around, that helps a lot, especially with these citizens assemblies or when a large group of people are there. So not having to deal with wires, it's very helpful. For example, running a live poll or, for example, like Mentimeter can also help you to gather quickly input from a large amount of people and display results in real time. Providing tablets at breakout stations to capture group notes or sync to a shared screen can also be very helpful to have a real-time you know, compilation of the thoughts that gathered. And of course, the projector or beamer, to say, we can use it to project the agenda, visuals, videos, but trying not to overload slides. And less technology, more human interaction can increase the energy level and connect participants. And what about accessibility of the location and navigation? Accessibility means how easy is it for all to reach, use, and navigate in the space used. And the experience we had, for example, one of the citizens' assemblies place had to be changed like a couple of days before the meeting took part because it turned out that one of the participants will be disabled and that location couldn't provide that feature to be accessible for them. Also, for example, I had a workshop in a space where toilets were downstairs with a lot of chairs, and especially elderly people or people who doesn't even have to be disabled, but it's hard to descend down to toilets. Or when there are no signs and people are just wandering around, like where's the toilet, where can we get anything to drink, or the kitchen. And so we have to consider a lot of different things when we talk about accessibility. And yes, and now I have told you the definitions and our experiences, and now it's the time that I would like you to go out to breakout rooms. I'm just checking the amount of participants. So
Yeah,
Kata will...
I have already created 2 rooms manually because I removed the IAF social media, and maybe Anna and Xenia could be in different rooms because they are
very
colleagues.
smart.
And we still have 2 participants, Maria and Hansulu, right? Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. So, so we are going to put you in breakout rooms, and now we are curious about your ideas about the what to consider part. So what tips and tricks you would advise each other, or you would collect in these 4 areas. So the 4 topics is the using technology, proximity of spaces, adjustable furniture, and accessibility. I think I told them all. I switched off the presentation.
Yeah, proximity of spaces. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we'll
And
give you. Yeah.
do we have 8 minutes or how
Yeah,
much time, or 10 or?
Yeah, let's give them 8 minutes. Let's give 6 minutes, and then by the time people come out, and so it's a heartful 6 minutes.
Okay. So if everything is clear, then I will move you to the breakout rooms. We will have 2 rooms. So we imagine that three participants in each room, 6 minutes, and then you will be automatically removed from the breakout rooms, and you will see 1 minute before the time is up.
Yeah. So before you open, is it all clear what you have to do? So discuss your ideas, tips and tricks in these areas.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kata. Then
Yeah, I open the rooms and be ready to share the essence of the conversation and tips plenary after the breakout session. So have a nice chat.
Happy chatting. Maria, are you with us or?
I think everyone, okay.
I see Maria here, and of course,
yes.
social media.
Yeah. I will move Maria to room 1. If I can. Let's see.
Does she have to click something?
They are automatically assigned to the room.
And I will pause recording.
Yes.
That was really nice, but not enough.
Oh, not enough. Oh, sorry to hear that. But maybe you can also just add some of your thoughts in plenary or also after the session if we still have time. And did you manage to talk to Zsargó as well in room number 2?
She was with us, but she didn't join. I'm not sure if she is like literally listening.
Okay. If you are listening to us, Zsargó, then please feel free to speak up. And Maria was here, but she did not join room number 1. So I will ask you first, Anna and Danielle, what did you discuss, the essence of the conversation? And Szilvia will just take some notes. So after the session, you will also have that material in your deck. Okay. Okay, and I can see that Zsargó, you listened, but your connection wasn't good. Okay, so thank you very much. So just feel free to write your comments in the chat, and we are happy that you can at least listening to us. Maybe if you can just write in the chat, where are you coming from? That would be nice to hear. And now, Anna and Daniel, over to you.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick debrief. Anna had some really amazing tips and tricks that she uses after sharing with me an experience where she was in the middle of nowhere. She used the term desert factory with nothing, no tables, no nothing. I probably would have just made people do push-ups at that point and threw up my hands. But she says she like brings a lot of things with her, so her suitcase is really full. But this really helps from a tech and an interactive experience, just to be really prepared. She writes a lot of the prep and her desires into contracts as well, which I thought was really smart. So covering your back and kind of setting expectations. And I also heard you say that yeah, you use as much stuff as you can to get what you want. Like you set the expectation of the space, and then you try to plan for things that couldn't go wrong. And I think we had a really good conversation around nothing's perfect and we can't, predict everything. So we also have to adapt at the same time. Would you add anything?
Thank you, Daniel. It was great.
Thank you. Thank you for the summary. And I pass the word to room number 2 to Greg, Xenia, and Zsargó.
Xenia, do you want to lead off? Or is she frozen now too? Oh yeah, no.
Was that my internet or something went wrong?
I think that was yours.
Sorry.
No problem. Did you want to talk, Xenia, about our conversation?
Oh, yes, I would like to. I'm a newborn in the facilitation, like only 2 years. I'm trying to dive in. Really happy to be like in the professionals, especially with Greg, who is more than 25 years already doing this. It's so cool. So, and technically, I was wondering about his experience and how he managing like the different skills that he has. Like to being a professional coach and facilitator at the same time, because I used to be interested in coaching before too, but my choice was facilitation. But who knows, maybe it's just like a start of my path. I don't know. So yes, so something we were talking about this. Greg, maybe you can add something too.
Yeah, the other thing I'd add, and it goes back into the technology piece, is, and I just recall we haven't talked about this much here so far, but if you go back to the sort of the worst part of COVID, doing this virtually. And so then you're managing everybody's individual technology, which we have a bit of a flavor of here. We manage their individual comfort level with technology or complete incompetence with technology. So you're navigating, it's like, which button do I look at? Where is it? And something so basic, and you get demographic differences, socio-demographic differences. So people that are in rural areas that have really horrible internet connection, or people who are just getting used to even using a computer still at this stage of society. But that's the things that you navigate. And with an international board of directors that I use, we experience this often with somebody who's maybe in country in parts of Africa, and there is no ability to have video. It's just going to be voice, and so you lose a bit of that connection, right? Or trying to do this hybrid where you have some people in room and some people not. And so all kinds of different things about technology and space that are not just physically present.
Yeah, exactly. And besides that, also that nowadays, even these online events might be less, but also it depends on the safety and accessibility issue of companies, for example, that some of them, because the firewall, they prefer this. They prefer that. Okay, let's use MS Zoom, but we are not MS Teams, Zoom, but we are not able to use some very good, from facilitation perspective, collaborative whiteboards, for example. So we are somehow have the constraint as facilitators to use the company's own whiteboard. Sometimes we do not have access to that. The other question, whether we have someone who technically co-facilitate and help us and host. So all these things we also have to consider. And yes, plan B, what happens if, so for example, I'm doing WhatsApp groups, or of course, I check what kind of other social media people can use. And if something goes wrong, we can reach the other participants at least via that WhatsApp group if they don't have that connection in Zoom or MS Teams. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, Kata. So just even last week, set up for this leadership development workshop, 20 people. I always show up half an hour early to make sure I'm set up, and discover that I can't connect into their Wi-Fi system to present. Even if I could, they don't have PowerPoint because they don't use Microsoft tools. They're using Google. So now we have to email the presentation to the client so they can put it up in Google, but I lose functionality in my presentation. So flexibility is core, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you also stated in the chat. Yeah, go ahead, Sylvie.
Yeah. Just 1 second. Let me go back to the slide so I can show you all the things I have noted with your ideas, and then I will share what we came up with, Kata, regarding these. So here are your thoughts. You will have it with the slides later. So what are the tips and tricks we came up regarding the flexible equipment. One of them is to ask for sorry, to ask for the setup in advance and clarify your needs clearly. Some of you mentioned this, that in preparation to discuss everything. So try to make yourself a checklist, what to ask, what to consider, because you, at least I tend to forget stuff or take it as obvious, but it's better to ask and get a clear yes than not ask and be surprised. Chairs and tables should be easy to move around, to use in various setups. So like in one part you want a word cafe and then you want a U shape. So try to aim for flexible chairs and maybe tables if you need them. Check tools in advance, even asking for photos so you can decide if you want to bring your own or not. So for example, in one of the locations in the hotels, I asked if they have like a pin board, and they said, of course we do. And then it turned out they thought totally different thing as a pin board than I do. So if I had asked for a photo, I would have known to bring my own. So what about the close proximity of spaces? Our tip is that spaces should be close, ideally next to each other. Like for example, if you have a larger meeting or conference, to have a plenary room, and the breakout rooms should be quite close, so people can go there but speak privately. So they can really have so they don't disturb each other when they are working. Um, as stated here, to minimize disturbances. Try to include some extra areas. Like, of course, if you can, many times you just given the space you work in, but if you have a choice to choose with a location with, for example, a terrace where people can go out, or a lounge that they can use, it helps a lot for the creativity, for the flow of the whole thing. Make sure you can reach everyone to give announcements like quite easily, so you don't have to walk like 10 minutes to say, hey, time is up, or something like that. What about technology? The use should be purpose driven. So whatever you use, be it a projector, a screen, a microphone, an interactive tool, should really support you, not because it's fancy, not because it's a new tech. It should help you somewhat, somehow with the whole flow. The smoother, the simpler, the better. Make sure you can use it easy, and if you require participants, for example, to vote in a Mentimeter, it shouldn't be very complicated, like a lot of, submitting or clicking or signing in. So you should make it as easily adjustable or accessible as possible. Um, you should use tools that support engagement, like these live polls or digital whiteboards, for example, when you're online, or these collaborative tools, so you can really increase cooperation. Make sure you have some backups. So what if the projector doesn't work? What if, I don't know, rain soaks your laptop on the way, or they use different platforms that you prepare to? So be prepared mentally that what happens if no tech is available. For example, I had a workshop where there was a blackout, electricity blackout. So we prepared beautiful presentation, beautiful polls, and there we stood with like 50 kindergarten teachers and with no electricity. So we had to come up, of course, with an alternative solution. And it should be accessible for all. So again, here it's also important that these technology tools, like Greg, you mentioned, it should be somehow accessible for those who are not used so much to use technology. And it should mean minimal distraction, so it shouldn't dominate. It shouldn't, when you don't use it, turn off the screens. When you don't use the beamer, turn it off. I really hate the sound, like the zzz, the cooler sound of the projector. You don't really hear it, but something is bugging you. So make sure you always turn it off when you don't use it. Okay, what about accessible location and navigation? Make sure you think about all the potential special needs. What we usually consider or what comes to our mind the first is disability movement. So people in wheelchairs or people who move hard should access the space easily. But there are other special needs like sight or hearing impairment. So we actually not so long ago we had a workshop on how to facilitate these various groups with different disabilities. And if you have this mindset of you know paying attention to these details, then it's quite helpful. Also, psychological sensitivity, for example, to noise or crowd. So even if people don't have a paper on autism or something, it can be for some people are more sensitive to too loud noises or having too many people in too small spaces or like chronic illnesses like epilepsy or asthma, where especially the air quality and the amount of oxygen is very important. So these are the things we thought to consider as such. And now I hand the word over to Kata to go for our next section.
Yeah, thank you, Sylvie. This will be the last session. And I really appreciate all your thoughts and interactive comments and experiences that you are putting in the chat during the presentation, those elements which come into your mind while Sylvie was speaking. So thanks a lot. Go ahead with that. And we will have two more elements that we would like to speak about under the cultural and societal level. And I will just share some thoughts in the same structure as before, element by element. So between the two elements, you will have the chance to share plenary. So the first one is the formal and welcoming atmosphere. What does it mean? And the second one is the culturally and socially anchored place. Yeah, exactly. So starting with the welcoming atmosphere, what does that mean? It is basically the balance of professionalism and warm and inclusive welcoming of participants, where they feel respected, relaxed, comfortable. I very often say that, for example, when a workshop starts at 9, I'm on the spot at least 1, if not 1.5 hours before, because by the time the group arrives, I want to welcome them just like, let's say, a housewife, that I know already the space, I know where the toilet is, I know that where the catering is, I know where they can go out to smoke a cigarette. So I really, really can only concentrate on my participants, on their needs, body language, on their morning mood, how they arrived into the room. And I don't need to already just make me comfortable with the technology or the setting of the room. So I really want to welcome them. So also the start, how you welcome people, that you begin on time, because money is time, but you also give the opportunity for latecomers not feeling themselves embarrassed, that they can still join the opening ceremony or the icebreaker. So it's not that people are already sitting in silent in the room, and if someone comes, that it's being very uncomfortable for them. Also, you set clear group agreements as we did this morning or evening, but you also invite the participants to form it together and give them also the space to say, no, in our culture, and we will speak about that later, we are completely okay that we check our forms one by one, or maybe we just go out if there is an important phone call. So don't stick to your own values and rules, but accept the group's decision. And also, we've already spoken about the professional venue versus some other options like soft touches. For example, 2 weeks ago, we had a community gathering with Szilvia for women, only women. in the second district in Budapest, and we made sure that on each table there was a nice flower, but not a huge bouquet that participants can't see each other while they are discussing, but just really like a soft touch, which helps to create that welcoming atmosphere. So some things to consider in relation to that atmosphere is to understand the clients and company internal culture. What does that mean welcoming for them? Okay. The next one is, as I already said, the focus is on the participants and not on our own preferences. So for example, I would have had some nice decoration, but maybe the company did not want to have that. So we just had to do some agreements, or vice versa, that they had lots of prospects once we had an event, and I could not even put a flip chart on the desk because it was full of leaflets and materials and questionnaires and some nice flowers and things like that. So also considering the right balance, mirror the words with our body language. So when I say that it's a warm welcome from myself, but I do not even smile, or I don't have the eye contact, that's not really authentic and welcoming. So you know very well that the efficiency of using words is only 7%, but your body language, how you represent the meaning, what you want to convey, is 55% of efficiency in a communication situation. And yes, using plans, slide decoration, as we already mentioned, and that's it. So these were our thoughts and ideas, and now I would like you to share some specific practices, how you create the right atmosphere. Yes, please, Anna.
I have a lot of icebreakers exercises, and I use it all the time for the beginning. It depends on the quantity of members of this group. For example, if I have a lot of people, for example, 100, and I have to mix it, and I need to I need them to change their places, which they took in the beginning when they came. I have cards with different type of animals, and I put it on the table. They take one card, for example, elephant, and they have to find elephants in this room and join and make group of elephants. That's and then they create name of the team and superpower of this of elephant, or maybe the group of elephants, something like this. And a lot of it depends on quality or quantity of people, and of course topic of session, and culture in a company culture.
Yeah,
Also.
thanks for sharing this example, Anna. And Greg, over to you.
Yeah, I think similarly, I certainly experienced some of the stuff that Anna's talked about in terms of images. Sorry, I just had a bird hit my window. Images from cards or things of that nature to foster that. The other one I've said, Kata, that I'm interested in understanding the Lego, because I've used Lego in, I'm a Lego aficionado, and so I've used Lego in some of my workshops about, like to illustrate, build what you believe a team is, a quality of team, and then explain that to the group and so on. I think very much being aware of the team culture or the organizational culture, because there'll be certain processes or techniques that will not fly. That they, yes, I want to promote sort of openness and vulnerability, but some cultures aren't ready for that, right? So you do have to be aware of that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Greg. And Danielle, you're the next one to share, please.
Greg, an offline conversation. I have a Lego icebreaker that I use a lot. It's a little competitive in nature, so I'll preface that. I use icebreakers all the time. I mean, it's my favorite go-to. I use it two contexts. One, I bring it in so everyone shares something personal in some way, shape, or form. So I'm just trying to create a little bit of connection, a little bit of levity. And I love to install a little creativity as well, especially if it's a business workshop for 2 to 4 hours. I mean, it's a long time. We need some energy. I have some things that connect to my content, which I'll have everyone stand up, build a tent, things like that. My favorite ones are just thought exercises, though. Like, here's a cool picture of an island. There's nothing on the island. You have to stay there for 1 year, and you can only bring one thing, and it can't be another person or an animal. And people get really creative thinking about that, and I feel like it lends a hand really nicely to what I want to do. I try not to do silly things, though. I just feel like it only lands with people who like silly things, and some people are just too serious. So you have to read the room a little bit beforehand. But those are usually my get goings. Thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you. I think we will be all curious about your Lego icebreakers as well. So somehow we need to make sure that we connect after the session so we can
I'll share.
share and learn on just offline as well. Thanks, Daniel. And Xenia, please.
I wanted to join to you, Kata. I'm curious about Lego exchanges too. Take me to your team, please. But
With pleasure.
I wanted to share experience of our facilitators from Africa, from the last session lab, and I was amused by her way of putting music on and making people dance before they're gonna start the session. Because I understand that it is a little bit cultural thing, but she said that it was a total icebreaker because like everyone start to move, especially if you have really good music, like with a good rhyme and rhythm. And and people were smiling and they charged them for the session with like a good mood and everything. And I thought like, oh my God, I wish we can use that. I understand it depends on the again like a company culture and everything, but still like sounds so fun.
Yeah, thanks, Xenia. Wow, this must have been really, and sometimes we feel that it's very courageous because just suddenly make people dance in front of everyone. So it's quite.
It's like you're a little bit vulnerable, but still like you can resist it, right?
Exactly. Daniel, please.
Yeah, sorry, Zinnia, something you said just sparked something in me. I'll find you on LinkedIn or something, and I'll send you a cool video if I can find it. It's this keynote speaker who does breakouts exclusively, and she brings drums in. And so my experience is with like 1,000 people. She brought individual drums for that. I mean, no one does that, right? But she also does it with small groups of like 5, and she just teaches them a drum beat, and then she builds it into like a drum, like a collective drum thing, and then she does voice acting and stuff. But it's the coolest 20 minutes to get people connected in a room without them feeling too awkward. It's pretty easy to hit a drum.
That's so cool.
That was the coolest experience I've ever been in.
Oh, please share it
I want
that with me.
invitation. Let's go.
I'll try to find one online. I mean, she makes a living from it, so who knows if she's willing to show a video of her doing it, but I'll try my best.
Thanks, Daniel, to share this as well. And I would like to encourage, we have already the LinkedIn profile in the chat from Xenia and Greg. So please make sure that we have all the LinkedIn profiles or availability if you want to share, so we can connect also after the session. Okay, and just let's move to the last one, which is the culturally and socially anchored place. And what does that mean? It's basically the place which meaningfully connected to the local culture, community, history, or social context of the participants. And it creates the atmosphere of belonging, relevance, and respect for the people who are in your room. So some of the experience, we have already spoken about community centers. So when I invite participants from the neighborhood, I think it's much more inclusive if we have a place where is in community center rather than in a very, let's say, modern corporate hotel. So really the space must reflect the composition of the participants. Also, how you choose historical building or cultural center. Just imagine that the IAF Romania conference in November will be had also a very nice building, which is a library. Also, if we include some local artwork or symbols or languages, it also gives people to the chance to start communicating also by seeing what they have around the room. It can also break the ice, so giving them the opportunity to speak about what they can see and also have a kind of feeling where they are and what they will talk about. Also meaningful food and habits, coffee or other traditional welcoming, and of course cultural norms and sensitivities. For example, once I had an international group, and before the workshop I got to know that I'm not allowed to have one lady with too many men seated around the same table. So I must at least include some more ladies, because these are some cultural habits. Or for example, there were some occasions when during the break, I was asked with some of the participants to give them space and time to make their usual pray on a certain day. Or I also had to make sure that when we had, for example, the time of Ramadan, then I need to make sure that those participants were lack of energy a little bit. So I had to concentrate on them as well. And what to consider after all this, that you need to reflect the space around cultural connections. Also the space which has social relevance, so familiar, accessible, meaningful to the local community, if we do not speak only about corporate workshops or meeting, and the environment feels welcoming to people. So also how they enter the building. Also, it's not your workshop, but how the staff of that local welcome your participants. And this event supports the local context. So also local suppliers, food, materials. If we speak about, for example, sustainability during a meeting, that do we have also selectively collected garbage, or do we use plastic plates, or how we represent this idea also during the whole workshop? So these were the aspects from the cultural and society level. And I would like to ask again your sharing concerning personal experience in terms of culture and society that you are working with. Ksenia, please.
Thank you, Kata. I had the same experience as you did, with all the breaks and giving it time for the prayer. Since we live in the Central Eurasia, like all 5 countries, technically, like some of them presented with a lot of religion people, and we need to count down that too. And my own experience, I used to work as a co-facilitator on a session with a Lego series play, and we did that for Islamic Bank, like from like Arabian countries, like a truly one. And it was a little bit like excited and a little bit frightening at the same time, because the main rule was that the people cannot touch each other, and we were dividing tables and like putting people in the groups, counting on that, like the amount of women and men gonna be equal. And when they're gonna touch like each piece of Lego, they won't touch each other. So it was a really hard preparation for that session, but it was really cool.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, I completely know what you are talking about, Xenia. Thanks a lot for sharing. Any other personal experiences?
I had experience previous year in this yurt, which I told you already. It was one girl. She was young and she has a baby 1.5 years old with her. And she was feeding her son every hour, but she didn't want to leave the room, the yurt, and she asked me, what if I feed my son here in the process of session? I said, I don't know, I should ask everyone. And I asked people. It was people from Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan also. It was mixed group. And all men said, okay, it's okay. It will not bother us. It's okay. And it was experience. I had the 1.5 years old participant in in a, in a session, but it was great. He wrote me 2 days ago and asked me, okay, we want to repeat this year. We want to close the year with you. I said, okay. Maybe she will bring her son again. I don't know.
Nice. You can't start enough early
Yes.
participating in a workshop. So yeah, it's a nice inclusive decision and just
Actually, we had the same experience last week with this Women's Citizens Assembly that there were 50 women and one of the young girls, for a couple hours, she had her, well, it wasn't a baby, but quite young son with her, and she also breastfed in some part, but it was okay. So yeah, you'll never know what experience you get.
yeah, still asking the group and really checking the acceptance and inclusiveness. It's very important. Thanks,
Yes.
Anna. Greg.
Yeah, I think one final thing that along that line, maybe sort of, is even thinking about when you're coming into an organization and their culture, organizational culture, even what you wear, how casual, how formal, because are they taking you seriously, or is it trying to create a comfort level? So sometimes I will be asking, what's the dress code, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, very good point also. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I also used to work with the Chinese group, and before the work, I asked about behavior, dress code, how I greet them. So I also checked all these stuff. Yeah, thank you. Xenia, please go ahead.
A little thing to continue this outfit line, that after figuring out the dress up and everything, sometimes we as a team do little things like feathers or bracelets of our colors to show up that we are one team, and like it's easier to find like where are you from, are you connected, or you just like people from the huge company and I cannot recognize you. And it is so nice. I mean, like it's totally like a branding revenue. So if you do not work alone by yourself, like team up with your group of people, of your coworkers, with something like distinguish, and it's so cool. It really helps people to figure it out, who is who and who can help, or who can I address to, like if I have a question, like it's so cool. It's much better than just like a lanyard with a card. Usually regularly you cannot even read the name on it because
Exactly.
it's too small, right? But something like specific. And if you give me a second, I will show you.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. It would be lovely to see.
I want to open the secret. We are preparing our dress code for November
Have a look.
conference.
Wow.
Nice.
This
Oh,
is oh, hold on. This is a
Nice.
feather. It
yes.
has sorry. It has my camera. It has this clip on, and the color matches totally to our community. So all girls were wearing this thing like on a black shirt or on a white shirt. It depends. how we want to work it out. So we have like different things like this, flowers or bracelets or something like this. So it's so easy, but it's just like a little tip for the teamwork.
Wow.
Exactly. Thanks for sharing. And indeed, it makes a difference. So I'm really looking forward to meet you, ladies, in
Yes.
Bucharest and
Yes.
see your outfits. So I will
We are
just...
working on it.
Nice,
I'm
nice.
excited. Thank you.
Good. So, Sylvie, as we only have 3 minutes, so I hand it over to you just to have the final closing of the session. And welcome back, David.
Yeah. So thank you very much for being with us and being so active. I really enjoy this. And as we have very little time, I would just like to have a very quick checkout or recap of this whole session. So I would just love to ask one word from you, like what was your key takeaway from this session? So please be concise and throw the ball to each other. And maybe Anna, would you start again? Because I see your mic is on now. So
I prepared myself. One word, it's so difficult. Amazing. It was amazing for me. I enjoyed.
thank you very much. Who do you pass the ball to? Or let me pick Xenia.
I'm happy to be with you all, guys, and to get to know you.
Greg?
Informative, inspiring. Yeah.
Thank you. Daniel, are you with us?
No, we had to sign off.
So,
Oh,
My
yeah.
one word is space. I'm just about to jump. My one word is space. Thank you.
Okay.
Good to meet you all.
Thanks a lot. And we have David again and other Anna, but I think all of you who have participated share the word, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you very much again, and we are going to share the slides and the video recording in the space.
Yes. And then we all have, I think, our LinkedIn profile shared in the chat. So it's completely up to us to connect. Greg, Daniel, you are also more than welcome to come to Europe to the Bucharest IAF conference. Who knows? And hope to see you very soon. And thanks for joining today. And I will pass the word to David just for the closing.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Sounds like you had a great participatory event. Thank you, Kata. Thank you, Szilvia. Have you shared the link for the Bucharest conference or not?
Not yet.
Okay. Do you want to share it while I?
Yes.
So I'll let you share
sharing.
that.
Yeah.
So I've just popped in for the page of the upcoming events, which you probably know. Just a small note, the IAF website is in transition, so we've put up a basic one for the moment. So, it's functional, but it's not, we're in the midst of revamping the site. So just to let you know, it's in process. So that's one thing. If anybody wants to take part in a IAF Share and Learn session, you are more than welcome to get in contact with me. There's a document that we have prepared. It's not a strict procedure you have to respect. It's just that sometimes people say, well, what am I supposed to do? Basically, how I organized it in the past was I literally just contacted people who were doing different things. I tried to keep it as eclectic and as colorful as possible. So if you've got an hour or an hour and a half to talk about feathers and other funny stuff, you're more than welcome. So I always try to keep it as eclectic as possible. So it's on a fixed date, as I mentioned at the beginning. It's the first Tuesday of every month. We decided to keep it. We ran it on a fixed date before. Then it was different dates. Now we're coming back to the fixed date because there's so much going on in the IAF that it sticks in people's mind. First Tuesday is the IAF Share and Learn. So I'll just go into my diary and see what's happening. So yeah, so I'll just put my email address. It's contact@davidbishop.fr. And generally, we take care of the communication. We'll ask you for a photo. It's all outlined. We'll ask you for a photo, a description. We'll prepare the communication. We'll circulate the communication. We'll prepare the Zoom link. unless you absolutely want to use your own, there's no problem with that. And yeah, and generally the sessions are recorded for, it's a member benefit. It goes on the member websites, which I'll be going back in to look at. And yeah, so and it's open to non-members. You do not have to be a member of IAF to participate in IAF Share and Learn. Voila. So there we go. It's 32.
Thank you
Everybody,
very much.
Thank you very much.
Have
Thanks,
a great
David,
evening,
for the
morning,
support.
afternoon.
David.
Thanks, Greg, and the Star Wars thing.
Star